Hey gang, this is Qzx909 on here, and if you've been on these, you know the drill. Before we get started, just type in a 1 in the chat box. If A, you can hear me okay, and B, you can see the slide on here, why Amazon. And also, if you want to include as a little fun fact where you are, as many of you know, I'm in Barcelona right now. It's about 9 in the evening here. Let me just make sure we got lots of ones here. Okay, good, lots of ones, yes and yes. Good. We have Chandler, Arizona, San Francisco, Denmark, Oregon, Los Angeles, Central America. Loud and clear from Singapore, 3 a.m. Thank you so much for staying up late. I do appreciate it. Tampa, Florida, Vancouver, BC. One of my favorite cities. I haven't been back there in a long time. I just love that place. Stanley Park, all the great stuff down there. London and Alabama, just an hour away from our time difference from London here. We'll get started here in just a second. I see a lot of people piling on. In Switzerland, alrighty. So Switzerland and London, we're on this side of the pond here. And I still see people piling in. So if you got on, keep your seat because we totally overpacked this here. And you don't want to miss out. This is promise not to disappoint. It's going to be packed filled with lots of great information. And from Ireland. Okay, good. Between the falling rock and resuming speed sign in Idaho. Very cool. All right, Belgium. Man, we've just about covered the globe here. We've gone around once easily. And New Hampshire. Okay, very cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We got 4 after the hour here. So before I introduce our guest, which this is a real pleasure to be able to bring this to you, because very rarely in this business and being on the other end of it, do you get to meet somebody who's just kind of quietly crushing it, doesn't do internet marketing, you know, none of that kind of stuff. So you're getting the real genuine raw thing tonight on here. So I want to talk a little bit about, set the stage for why Amazon on here. And I want to just educate you just a little bit. So just bear with me for just a couple of minutes here. Let's check this out here. So if we look at Amazon and we look at the total growth of Amazon here, and we look at the competitors, and the competitors right now cannot keep up with Amazon's growth. It is just crazy. If we look at the chart here, I mean, we see Staples, Apple, right? I'm on an Apple right now. Walmart, Dell, Sears. I mean, there's some major names. And look at this green graph here. Just people cannot keep up with Amazon. Its growth is staggering. And let's look at Amazon's on sales. It completely dwarfs the competition. You've got Amazon at 67.9 B with $1 billion. Next to that, in a very distant second, is Apple. And then look all the way down. 4th is Walmart. I mean, Amazon is a force to be reckoned with for sure. Check out these kind of cool stats here. We got Amazon sales. That's the blue line. Look at the percentage of change versus traditional brick and mortar. Okay? Amazon is going to take over the world. And check this. Amazon, it's no mistake why they're #1. They do a couple of really interesting strategic things that no other online business is doing. One of those happens to be is, look at this. This is the Google AdWords top advertisers. It's Amazon. Look how much they spent. Okay, they spend a lot of money in advertising, more than Priceline, ADT, Expedia, Microsoft, Walmart, Sears, etc. I mean, they're up there. Okay, and as far as their forecast goes, they forecast that they'll just continue to grow at 10% every year. That is enormous on that end of it. So one thing I want you to kind of walk away with these numbers with, and what I did, is that when you look at the total percentage of just the e-commerce, not the brick and mortar, just the e-commerce that Amazon has of all online, you know, we got Priceline.com, all kind of e-commerce sales out there online. Amazon only has 12% of it. There's a lot of room here, and they're growing year after year. Now, they're also taking away business from brick and mortar, because more and more brick and mortar people who are there's still people who are uncomfortable shopping for certain items, if not all items, online. That's slowly changing. And if you remember, even 4 or 5 years ago, I was a little bit nervous about entering my credit card to buy something online. Today, it's just that's my preferred choice, and many people are crossing over to that side as well. So when you look at all potential brick and mortar, when they start to go online and it becomes more and more commonplace, then Amazon only has about 2% of the marketplace. So why am I pointing this out? I'm pointing this out here because there is so much room for future growth with Amazon. It's just taking off. And so I don't want you to think like what I thought before I did the research, which was, well, Amazon's going to start slowing down. No, they're just getting started. Okay. Now, there is room for future growth by Amazon by taking away from retailers brick and mortar. We saw that here. Okay, they've only got 2% of that market space when you look at that. So, can someone out there in the chat box give me just one reason, not 2 or 3, just one reason why Amazon is outgrowing all other online retailers? And it's not because they're spending more with AdWords. That's the number 2 reason. But the number 1 reason why they're growing so much, can anybody out there in the chat box give me the reason why? One reason why. Amazon, they literally, no one can keep up with them now. It's like impossible. It's like everyone's just competing for second place at this point. Well, the reason is because unlike other businesses out there, Amazon lets people sell their stuff online. Okay, and there's a very strategic reason why they're doing it, and it's directly related to their growth. They need people like Steve on here. They need you to be selling on Amazon. That's the backbone for their growth. Now, why are they doing that? Okay, they're doing that because their sole goal on here is to get as many customers in the door as possible so that they will register with an Amazon account and have a credit card on file. That's the most valuable asset of their list. Their business is not really about selling stuff online. It's about obtaining customers to register online with a credit card. That's what I've done. Okay, so they get that click now on here. And the other thing they do, which is kind of interesting, is that there's a certain percentage of these customers, like myself, that go with Amazon Prime, okay? And what's amazing about Amazon Prime customers, if you don't have a Prime account, it just means that you get access to a little bit more few things. You get free, 2-day delivery and stuff. And the fact of the matter is, the reason they do that is because Amazon Prime customers spend 50% more than non-Amazon Prime customers, and they buy more expensive items. So if for any minute, when I turn this over to Steve here, if you think that there is no more opportunities left on Amazon, that all the good spots are taken, that's absolute nonsense. That is just not the case on here. So Amazon is growing like crazy. They're going to continue to grow on here, and there's plenty of room for many, many people to be there. Now, I want to share and turn this over to our guest here, and as I'm introducing him, Steve, I'm going to make you presenter. You'll see a little pop-up on your window, and just press OK, and if you can't see it or whatever, just speak in here. But let me tell you about Steve. Now, I've known Steve, I think, for about 5 or 6 years. We actually met in San Diego at an offline event, and he had actually, he kind of stuck out because his laptop had, I guess, broken down, and so he needed to bring it for the event. And so he was the only one in the event that had like this gigantic, I don't know, it was like a 30 or 40-inch screen Mac on here, and it was just enormous. And he was kind of hiding behind it the whole time, but he stood out. And since then, he and I have become good friends, and we've kind of shared how our businesses have evolved and stuff like that. And 11 months ago, he got into Amazon, and from there, He's really just been this incredible success story. And he's going to share that with you. And he's also taught his wife and his kids how to do that as well. So with that, Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am, Chris. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. If people out there could just type in a 1 in the chat box just real quickly, just let us know you can hear Steve okay. And Steve, where are you this morning, this afternoon, this evening? Where are you in the world?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. So it looks like everybody can hear you just fine and see your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and sit back and take some notes.
Okay, sounds good, Chris. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Hey, guys. My name is Steve Westmoreland. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is my family. And this summer we made a trip to Lake Tahoe. I grew up in Lake Tahoe, went to high school there, and so we were able to go back this year, and it was a great trip, and for more reasons than one, but one being financially, it was great. Everybody was able to pay their own way, which as a dad and as a mom, my wife and I, love to see that. Now, like Chris said, we've dabbled. I followed Chris and dabbled a little in what he does, but I was looking for something specific. And I'm a magazine publisher by trade, and so I was looking for a business that I could teach my children, not only learn myself, but something they could learn. And let me just tell you who we have here in this picture. The young man standing to my left, or on your right of your screen, is my son Aaron, and then that's me. Then my wife Teresa, and my daughter Alex is holding my granddaughter Ella. And to her right is Megan, and she is married to my other son, the one on the end, and his name is Nigel Moore. Just a little quick story about Nigel. Probably wondering how to get in our family, but I had the pleasure of meeting Nigel when he was 14 years old, and the circumstances weren't great. His mother had just died of breast cancer, and his dad was shot when he was a baby, and so. He was playing basketball with my son, and we met, and he really didn't have a place to live. He was semi on the streets, and we invited him to come live with us, and he's 28 years old now, and we've had him for 14 years, and he's just my son, and he calls me dad, I call him son, and he's just as much my son as Aaron is. And so just a quick story. So you can see my dedication to these folks here, that I wanted to do something for them. And, as parents, and some of you are, I'm sure, parents, and some are going to be soon, maybe in their lives. But that's one thing you always worry about your children, and what are they going to do if something ever happens to you? What's your wife going to do, or your husband going to do if you lose each other? And so that was my goal. That was my goal. I wanted to teach my children how to support themselves. And 11 months ago, I ran across a program that I immersed myself in. And like I said, I dabbled a little bit of what Chris was doing, just helped some friends with some businesses. But I was really looking for something that they could learn. And I'm sure a lot of people on the call today know the Google and the monster that Google is, and that they make the rules and that we must follow. And as some of you know, there was just another rollout of another update that Google had. And we're always seems to be chasing our tail, and we're always trying to, keep our customers happy. And in that way, it's a tough thing. And so I was looking for something that different because of Google and the SEO model it's tough. It takes a lot of effort to learn and do. Well, I ran across this course, like I said, 11 months ago, and I launched my first product 9 months ago. That product now has done very well, and I'll show you those numbers in a second. But kind of play off what Chris was saying, just about a week ago, Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, said this: many people think our main competition is Bing or Yahoo, but really our biggest search competitor is Amazon. People don't think of Amazon as search, but if you are looking for something to buy, you are more often than not looking for it on Amazon. So even Google knows. Google knows their number one competitor in the industry is Amazon. So, why Amazon? Again, I was introduced to it 11 months ago, and it just hit me. And at first I was a little hesitant because I have sold things on eBay, jerseys, basketball jerseys, Michael Jordan jerseys, and stuff like that. Not professionally, but just here and there. And I thought, Amazon, it's just like eBay. I know guys make money on eBay, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to store stuff. I don't want to ship stuff. I don't want to have to do all that. And what I'm about to show you is not eBay, not even close to eBay. Amazon is a whole different monster, as you know. I'm sure probably everybody on this call has purchased one thing or another from Amazon and know how that works. So here's what I've done so far. In the last 9 months of a live product, one product, I just launched my personal second product about a week ago. But this is its own account. This is one product in one niche. And this is what I've been able to do. In the last 30 days, we've done $25,015.81. Now, with a 50% profit margin, which, that's the other thing. This isn't affiliate. We're not getting affiliate commissions. We are creating a product, putting it on Amazon, and selling it. So, because of my success, a few months ago, about 5 months ago, I taught my family how to do this. My wife and my 3 kids. These are their accounts, and this is what they've been able to do. Of course, help from Dad. I've been there with them and shown them what I've learned. I was going to hang them totally out to dry. I wanted to teach them. And the neat thing about it is everything I'm teaching them is they're going to be able to now take to a whole nother level. And these accounts are just one product each. None of us, except for my new one last week, none of us have 2 products with Amazon right now. So you can see how excited I am and how I'm accomplishing my goal. I'm able to, the things I've taught them and that I'm teaching them, they've been able to be successful. Now, you guys are going to ask me, well, Steve, how'd you do it? Well, there's 3 steps. 3, and they're not unimportant steps. They're very, very important. And a lot of people who sell on Amazon get it wrong. And over the last 11 months, I've been able to study everything I could find, all the courses, all the people. If it has anything to sell on Amazon, I'm buying it and I'm studying it. So I've learned and been able to filter all the noise out to the main, most important things. So let's look and see what of the 3 most things we have to do and are very important. We have to find a product, and obviously there's many ways to go about this, but we have to take the emotion out of it. A lot of people think of a product in their head and they get emotionally attached to it, and they got to do it no matter what the numbers say, no matter if it's if it's a good product or bad product, they just want to do it. Well, we can't, to run a successful business on Amazon, we need to be very careful of how we select that product in step one. So in step one, how do we find that winning product? Well, one of the big things that we have to determine is what we call buying demand. What products have a buying demand? And there's three things to that we want to look at right now. The most important thing that we need to look at is each product on Amazon has a rating. Amazon rates it, and it's called a BSR, Best Seller's Rank. And so the first step, we need to have, in that niche, whatever niche it is, we need to find 3 products that have a BSR of 1,000 or less. And one of those BSRs needs to be under 200. The optimal, and number 2, the optimal price range is right around $19.97 to $39.97. I don't recommend, and I don't look for any products less than $19.97 or $20. The profit margins just get slimmer, and so it doesn't make any sense. And $39.97, or you can even go higher, but that's kind of my window that I do. And the third thing, which is an additional filter that that we use, and I'm going to show you why that's important. Now, talking about the BSR here, this is where it's displayed. If you look here down, it says Amazon Best Sellers Rank number 7 in beauty. So this product right here has a BSR of 7. So, and I'm going to go online here and show you guys, and some of you may know this, but I'm going to show you where those are, and then how we utilize this information to help us select that product. Again, $19.97 to $39.97. Usually the higher the dollar amount, the larger profit margin. And a little side note here, any product that is priced over $35 or a series of products, if somebody made multiple purchases, they will get free shipping. They get free shipping from Amazon. Or if you're a Prime member, you also get free shipping from Amazon. So let's do this. Let's go. I'm going to go online now and pull this up. Let me just get rid of this and pull this up right here. Now, we're going to look at a couple products that, and I'll show you what I use to help me keep track. And I call it the high percentage product evaluation spreadsheet. And again, these steps are very, very important. Obviously, I have a couple here just to show for demonstration purposes, and I'm going to show one why it works, and another one why it doesn't work. And so we're going to do a derma roller. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's a roller for the skin, like for acne or blemishes on the skin. And I see, people selling those on Amazon. Also, a product that is mentioned a lot in the industry is a silicone spatula set, and we're going to look at that. So let me show you where we get this BSR information. Now here, I just went in here and in Amazon, and we're looking at the derma rollers. And so these are the derma rollers that are being sold. And let's just click on this one. And this is how they traditionally people do it. I've streamlined this process. I'm going to show you that in a second. But traditionally, it's a manual process. And so I've evaluated hundreds and hundreds of products. And when you're doing that, you want to find some way to streamline the process to make it much quicker. And so if I scan down here, you're going to see, again, this what I showed you before. But this product, Amazon gives us a bestsellers rank of 311. And so that's where you find that. So what you would do is and what is taught is you would go through the top three, and then you would write down the BSR of each one, and then put it into a spreadsheet like this. Well, most people, which is this area here, most people stop there. And they think, oh, based on reviews, there's not very many reviews, and there's 3 products with a BSR. And remember, we're a little different too. The way we do it is it's just not 3, under 1,000. No, we must have 2. Well, all 3 must be under 1,000, and one of those BSRs needs to be under 200. And both of these products, the derma roller and the silicone spatula, and it's spelled wrong there, but silicone spatula, both meet our criteria in this first step. But we don't stop there, because this is where 99% of the people who run into issues have a problem. And we want to look at it must pass this BSR test, but then we're going to take it to the next level, which we're going to check the ranking. So let's see here. Now, if we go back to our spreadsheet, okay, here I'm going to take you to an area, a tool that I use that streamlines this process. So here I showed you the manual process. Now let me show you this tool. Now this tool isn't a free tool, but there's discounts out there. I don't remember what it is, but I just want to show you what you can do eventually if you choose to. But just to make it quick, and I can show where these numbers came from, we're going to put in derma roller, and we're going to set it at 20, because we really need to look at 20, not just the first 3 products. We want to look at 20, the top 20 products for derma roller on Amazon. So we click the button, and it'll make me log back in. Okay, this again. Okay. It's taking its time. Okay, this tool here actually shows us in this column the BSR of the top 20, actually 10, I'll change that back. I'll change it back to 20, of the top 20 products for derma roller on Amazon. And so as soon as this refreshes, I'll show you where these numbers came from. There we go. All right, so do we have the numbers? Well, we already know, right? Because if we go to our high percentage spreadsheet, we have one at 12, one at 45, and one at 38. We also can do the same thing, which I have already done for us, and here is the results for the silicone spatula. But now we need to go to the second tool that I use to filter out this information, because this isn't enough information right here. For most people selling on Amazon it isn't, but for us it isn't. So we take it a whole nother step, which is a very important step. So we're going to go to, it's actually free. There's an upgrade for $9 a month, but it's called Merchant Words. And Merchant Words will let us know how many searches, and if you remember, our third criteria was that we need to have 80,000 searches. And if you look here on the spreadsheet, we need 80. Oops, where's the spreadsheet? There we go. We need 80,000 searches per month. Okay, so here, yes, we've passed this test, and yes, we've passed this test. But now we have to pass this test. Are there more than 80,000 searches per month on Amazon? So let's see. Let's put in derma roller, and let's search. Let's sort by highest to least. And there it is. Derma roller, 413,000 searches per month. So that meets our criteria. It's above 80,000. And then we have all these other, what's neat about Merchant Words, it gives us all this other potential keywords that we can rank for, that we can put in our system when we rank on Amazon. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. This is a yes. And so this would be a good product. This would be something that we would consider. So I'm going to put a yes here. And then now I want to show you the next product, which I will demonstrate why, even though this works, that if this doesn't work, then we don't want to do it. And I've known people selling on Amazon who have picked a bad product because they didn't use this filter here. So let's go to our Merchant Words again, and we're going to put in here silicone spatula set. All right, so let's see here. We're going to do silicone spatula set. Highest to least, and you can see it doesn't meet the searches. So it would not. We would not want to waste our time on this product. And this is the key to finding a good product to sell on Amazon. And again, I've done hundreds and hundreds of these. Eventually, I'm going to outsource it to an outsourcer to search for future products. But this seems very simple, but I can't tell you how many people never take this to the next step, and so they end up with a product that either isn't successful at all, or isn't very successful. So this system right here is to prevent that from happening, and that's the step one. The most important thing that we want to do for starting our Amazon business is find a product, and this is the way to do it. So let's go on to, let's see, where are we here? Go back to the full screen so you guys can see. Again, the tool that we use to find monthly search volume in Amazon is called Merchant Words. I displayed that for you. You must have 80,000 searches per month to qualify. So now I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to look at this next screen. What is the difference between these two products? This is one of those moments that, you know, it makes a little bit more sense of why we do products the way we do. Why do we want to do something that is called private label? And Chris, I can't see the question box, but if you could tell me what kind of responses we have, if they're seeing the difference.
No problem. Yep, we are getting some good ones in. Not quite, though. If you look at the two basically checkout screens side by side, what's the main glaring difference between the two? Anybody got it? Let's go. Yep, someone says pure genius. One has other sellers and the other doesn't on here. And a few people got on that, John, Mark, Scott. So, yep, they got it. This, for me, when Steve pointed this out, was a big aha moment for me, because when I'm checking out, when I do private labels, okay, like what Steve does, you're going to get a 50% margin, number one. When you go to checkout, you're not going to get any other choices. But when you're doing someone else's product, okay, and you go to check out, now you're competing on price, and that's a slow death in anybody's business. And you're only going to get, what, 2 to 3% profit margin anyways. And so this is really the way to go for many reasons. So anyways, back to you, Steve.
All right, thank you, Chris. Yes, and what this is called is the buy box. On Amazon, usually, everybody is competing for the buy box, meaning multiple sellers and selling new and used things. So our system is set up to own the buy box. Nobody else owns that buy box but us. And because, now why, how do we get that to happen? Well, the way we do it is we private label. We find a product, we find a supplier, which will be our next step. Number one being find a product, but our next big step is to find a supplier. Now, when we private label our own brand that we create, our own beautiful label, our own product, well, we don't give access to anybody else. We have our own UPC code on the bottle or the item, and it's ours. And unless we give permission to somebody to sell our product, no one else can sell it but us. That is a huge difference when you're talking about sales volume on Amazon. So now we go to step two. We found a product, or we chose a product. It met all our criteria. Well, now, okay, now what do we do? You know, we need to find a supplier. And there is, the way we do that is we run a search. And let me go to the next screen here. And there's specific search, what we call search strings that we do, and to find a supplier on Google. We put the product name. In this case, it would be. Let me see. I did a sample for you. Let me escape out of here again and go to our other screen here, and I took the Derma roller, and as you can see here, I put in Derma roller private label. Now I could also put in Derma roller supplier or Derma roller wholesale. And what I do is I create another spreadsheet, and I put a list. I just go through Google and I list anybody that looks good that could be a good private label source for us. I go through and create that list on the spreadsheet, and then I go back and contact him and pick the one that I want. And this is where we get our profit margin of 50%. My first product is actually 49%. So I didn't hit the 50, but I'm awfully dang close. And you can see I'm doing some great sales with it, and you can see what the profit margin would be. So let's look at this one. This is something that you guys have recently heard of, Alibaba, and probably heard of it before that, but they just went public. They're a huge company, and they're the first one that pops up. So let's click on them and see what we have. Well, if you go here to Alibaba and you're looking for a Derma roller, you can see right here the prices: $1 to $4 a piece, $1 to $20 a piece, $6 to $7 a piece, $5 to $6.5 a piece, $1 to $6 a piece. You can see here that there are many suppliers that you can get this product for $1, $2, you know, even up to $3 or $4. It's still a great, well, even more than that, $5. It's still a great profit margin. You can see all of these potential ones. And then anything about Alibaba, and I'm not going to go into the Alibaba thing. That's something for a future date. But you can see these badges that they have: a 1-year badge, a 3-year badge, and these search criteria up here: a gold supplier, you know, on-site check, you know, all these things. We have a system that helps us whittle down to the prime sellers. Now, most of these are out of China, and I'm not recommending that your first product would be something out of China. You know, ideally, your first product you want to do out of the United States, but if you feel you want to, the profit margins are fantastic out of China, and that's a whole nother course, sourcing China. But so we won't get into that, today. But that is something for a future webinar. But okay, so let me go back to our other screen here. And okay, so now our goal for every one of our products, my goal and your goal should be 10,000 per month per product. Now you can see I got one product that's over that, and that'll happen. It's if you know what the 80-20 rule is, that's the rule. 20% of your products are going to create 80% of your income. So some products will do 25,000. Some will do 5,000. But we want to average. My goal is to have 10 products in next few months, maybe 6 months, doing 10,000, averaging 10,000 per month. So that's our goal. How do we get there? Well, if you look at it and you break it down, it's really not that hard. 10,000 per month is $330 per day. Well, how do we sell $330 a day worth of product? Well, our derma roll in 1997, we only need to sell 17 units per day. Now, we've already demonstrated how huge Amazon is. 17 units per day. That's so doable, I can't tell you, especially once you understand all of the steps. So 17 units, 1997, 339 actually, 0.49 per day. That's 339.49 times 30 for 30 days, roughly $10,184.70 per month, which is great. So after teaching my wife, my kids, and some really close friends, we've been able to get this down now where we're averaging about 4 to 8 weeks. So that's our goal. Our goal is to hit this at 4 to 8 weeks, which sounds tough, but it really isn't. Again, Amazon. That's why I'm so excited about this, and that's one of the reasons I talked to Chris about it. Is I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, and at first you don't. You see these and you go, wait, how can that be? But let me tell you, once I got into it, once I started selling product, it's just been amazing. So how do we get our product to the top of Amazon search rankings? Because that's the key, right, of anything. If you're doing search engine optimization, SEO, your goal is to get to the top of Google. Well, it's a different animal with Amazon, and to tell you the truth, easier. So now that we found a winning product and we found a supplier, what's next? Well, we need to optimize our product page. Now, what I showed you where we went to with the bestseller rank, and I demonstrated that's the product page. That's the page we get to control. We get to add our images, our text, and our reviews.
Hey.
Yes.
Just a second here. I don't know if you want to show this here on the webinar or not, but I know when you showed me, it was another aha moment for me. And that is when you were going over this process with me, and we were trying to predict, how many sales a certain product could get. Oh. I was like, show me the numbers. Where is that? Because 17 a day may sound kind of easy, but it may sound hard. Is it possible for you? I don't want to ask you to do something you don't feel comfortable doing, but can you show us the tool you use to actually show a really good estimate of how many of these things are selling per day, or any product for that matter? Because that's one of the key criteria, right? You want to know, hey, how many of these things are selling? Right.
Right, yes, and I'm sorry, I kind of skipped over that. I was going to cover that, actually. There is a tool, and there's also a manual way to do it, which I'm not going to teach because it's super top secret. But let me just show you the tool. And let me click over. Here's the tool, and it's part of of course, but we'll skip that for now. And here it is. The tool tells you, and then we're in beauty. So I clicked on beauty, and I use these filters. You know, what's the price range? You know, how many reviews? I just put no limit, no limit. And right here you can see the top 100 products in beauty. Number 1, what's the product price? Number 2, how many reviews do they have? And number 3, what is their daily sales volume, which then is calculated to $2,399 a day. Number 2.
Cool. Cool. So I'm sorry. How many sales per day? If you're getting to it, I'll just shut up. But how many sales per day, according to this tool, is that roller getting?
You know, the roller, you know, when you and I were looking at it, it was like at 99, but I was looking at it earlier this morning, and I think it dropped down to the top 100, so we're not seeing it, and I can't remember those numbers off the top of my head. Let me see if it's popped back in, because these things do fluctuate, and I don't see it here, dang it. It was on yesterday, and now it's gone, but if I remember right, Chris, what was it that we saw?
It was like 150 a day or something.
Right, it was 150 a day, and it was over. Yeah, it was like $2,500 a day.
Which tells you that 17 per day is extremely doable when you factor in all the other things that you did, plus this. It says, yes, this is extremely possible. And so the next stage is then to create your store and get your product up in front of people. So anyways, I want to point that out because that's really cool.
I'm glad you did. I forgot about that. But so also, yeah, to highlight what Chris just said, is you don't have to be number 1. We do not have to be number 1. My product isn't number 1. It's on page 1, but it's number 1. So you can see the potential here. It's it's not like with Google we need to be in the top 3, right? I mean, we're always battling. Now, ideally, yeah, we want to be number 1 in Amazon, and I have ways to get us there. But top 3 is pretty cool too. So that's a fun thing regarding Amazon and its power. So, okay, so now, like Chris said, we need to get our product on Amazon. We need to do certain things, and these 3 things are huge. I can't tell you, when I first did my product, I put it on Amazon. I kind of, I'm a pretty meticulous guy, but, I was kind of sidetracked, and I didn't really put the time into it I should have. And so a few months ago, I decided, I'm going to relook at this, and especially my text. I did my images really good and the reviews, and I'll show you that in a second. But the text, I want to do better, so I changed my text out, and I doubled my sales. So it's now proven. So, okay, so now we want to talk about the images. So let me go back. Images, so let's talk about that first. What do we do to our images that's better than everybody else? Well, look at the difference between these 2. And which one would you buy? And let me ask you, and Chris, if you can take a look at it, does anybody know why this one on the left looks so much better than on the right, and what that is on the left compared to what that is on the right? It's pretty obvious since it's right here, but...
Yep, we got people in here. Yeah, we have a smart crew on here, so... Yeah, definitely. And right here, Scott nailed it right on the nail, and that was the 3D rendering. Yes. Everyone else said on here, professional looking, stuff like this. But yeah, that's it. It's 3D rendering. Yeah,
that's not a photo, guys, on the left. That is a 3D graphical image created in different programs that create 3D images. The one on the right is a picture. Not very appealing. One on the left, man, I want to buy that. You can tell. You just look at that thing. It's clear, crisp, and beautiful. That's number 1 on our listing. Most important thing on selling your product on Amazon is your image. If people like your image, they're going to keep reading. But if they don't like your image, they're going to move on to the next product. So, image. And let's see, the next... in the images, this is just a product image. Now, there's some rules with Amazon. Your product image the first product image has to be what is going to be the sell. If this thing came up in a box, and you had a really nice, cool looking box, you could show the box and the bottle. But obviously, this is shipped. When you buy this particular brand of Garcinia Cambogia, your bottle comes in the mail. Now it's in a box, but it's really, you're just buying that bottle. It doesn't have its own box. It comes in a mailing box. So Amazon rule is you can only show, and some guys cheat on this, but if you don't want to get in trouble, you can only show one product. The product, if you're only shipping one, then you only need to show one. If you're shipping two in a box, then you can show two. So that's very important. But there's actually 9 places where photos can go, 7 only show. So there's 7 other locations of photos we need to take advantage of. A lot of people that sell on Amazon do not. A lot of people that sell on Amazon have one photo. And it's usually a photo like the one on the right. So what else can we do there? Well, a fun little thing is create an infographic, and it's not a long one like some of the traditional ones. This is just a square, simple comparison graphic. It's really not an infographic, so don't get freaked out because these are cheap to do. And it compares. I love this one because it shows his bottle as his beautiful things, and all these other ones. Brand B is just a white. B, C, and D are just white bottles, ugly bottles, which is genius. I love it. So this is something that you can do that's unique to everyone else on Amazon. The other thing is you can do an ad type image. Again, this fits in that little box of the same thing as the product image. So, and I'll show you later on where these fit in. The other thing too, and one thing that's important is that really helps is showing your product being used. If let's say you had a silicone baking sheet, well, you don't want to just show the silicone baking sheet rolled up and there it is. You also want to show it spread out with beautiful chocolate chip cookies being baked on it, or something like that. If you have a derma roller, you want to show a before and after. Here's the person's skin on the face before a week of using the derma roller, and then a before and after. So those are other things very good and very important to do. Now, this next slide is this is a bad Amazon product listing. As you can see to the left, it has only one image. The image is okay, but it's not very good. It's nothing like the one that we just looked at. The title is nothing. I mean, I'll go over title in a second and why it doesn't look very good, and that's not what we want to do. And then the bullet points, very small. They're okay, but not very good. But let's go to this Garcinia Cambogia and images. They're using all 7. They're even using a technique called like badges, authority badges or whatever, showing made in USA or top quality, or if they're certified by somebody. So that stuff you can do too. The title, see the title, it's longer, and it's not too long, but it's not too short. And again, the key and very important here. Why is the text so important? It gives us the opportunity to slip in keywords. And if you look through here, you can see all the different keywords that he was trying to hit. Garcinia Cambogia, obviously. Super strength, Garcinia Cambogia. 80% HCA. That's obviously a very, very important keyword to use that people search. No calcium, weight loss, appetite suppressant, natural. Look at that keyword. Natural. He fit that in there. So now the way Amazon works is if your keyword does not show up on your page somewhere, you're not going to be displayed at all when people search, or you're going to be way, way down. And then that's the title. So then another area that we can have more keywords and cool copy, sells copy, right, is in the bullet points. And if you look there in stock, look up below that, natural, healthy weight loss in a bottle. Very salesy, very good, and has keywords. And if you read through that whole thing, all those bullet points, they have great keywords. So what have we learned? We've learned, number one, our images. Got to have great images because we want people to look at it and say, man, that looks great. I got to have it. Number two is our title. Very, very important, our title. And then number three, and there's a debate going on, is the title more important than the bullet points? And it may be that the bullet points are even more important than the title because there's something you can see in the future. I'll show you that there's certain key phrases in the bullets that show up on the listing that's called key features. And when you search the term, it actually pulls up that 3 or 4 word keyword sentence and displays it on your listing in the search area when it pops up. So that's pretty cool. So what have we done? We've done the, let's go back and let's go just to refresh our memory here. I'm going to go back. Oh, there we go. We did images. We talked about images, right? Okay, we have to have great images. Text. We have to have good sales copy with built-in keywords. Our third thing that is very important is we need reviews. We need, and ideally, 5-star reviews. Very important. As we know, people go to any product on Amazon, and after they look at the images and after they read the text and say, "Oh man, this seems like a cool product." But wait, what is everybody saying about it? They're going to scroll down to the bottom and they're going to start reading reviews. So, how do we do that? How do we get enough good reviews? Honest reviews, obviously. We're not going to do anything black hat here. We're not going to just buy fake reviews. We want good, honest reviews. So number one, the most important thing, and it's taught in the program, family and friends. Give a coupon to your family and friends for free to buy your product and give a review. Now, luckily, they're your family and friends, so they're probably going to give you a pretty good review. And you don't need, the only thing against the terms of service of Amazon is we cannot ask for a 5-star review or a good review. We have to ask for an honest review. So odds are our family and friends are going to give us a pretty good review. So that's why it's our first number one choice is we want to start with them. And, I have a whole system where we contact them and get them to, help us out. Number two, there's tons of blogger networks out there in any niche you choose that you could send an email to the blogger, ask them to please review your product, test and review your product and give you an honest review. Now the neat thing about bloggers is, well, they have a bunch of followers, right? So, if they're in the beauty niche, like we've talked about, they got a bunch of followers listening to them on what's the next great thing to get rid of your wrinkles or whatever you're trying to do, right? So if the blogger, and you have a good product, again, most important thing, have a great product so nobody ever leaves you a bad review, then the blogger will use it and be happy, and then the blogger will share it with all their readers. So too, very, very important. And I've been able to get reviews crazy using this process. It's a little bit of a manual thing, a little bit of work, but I'm telling you, how do you do it? That's how you do it. And number three, believe it or not, you can go to Fiverr and give them a coupon and have them give you an honest review. And there are honest reviewers on Fiverr. If nobody knows what Fiverr is, it's a site that for $5, so, the main thing is $5, and then if you want them to do more stuff, it'll be a little bit more. For example, in this case, there's some Fiverr gigs that they order your product, they get your product, they use your product, and then they'll do a video testimonial for you. And on Amazon, a lot of people don't know this, but on Amazon, you don't have to just leave a written review. You can actually leave a video review, which is it sticks out, which is kind of cool. So another little trick that we've learned. But yes, there's Fiverr gigs out there, honest reviews. They will actually test that product. They will use that derma roller on their face for a week and then let you know and leave the review on Amazon for you. So right there. Now there are some other tricks. We're not going to talk about them today. More streamlined, more aggressive, and all above board, all white hat, all good stuff to do. So, and we'll get into those later. Oh, Chris, I just flashed it up. That's really it, Chris. That's my my basic presentation that I put together for everybody to see. And so now, any questions, I guess, or I guess we want to move on to the next of what we're talking about.
Well, fantastic. Well, first of all, on here, we're almost done here. So that was
Yes.
This is the very first time Steve has ever given a presentation live on a webinar. So I thought he did a fantastic job. If you guys thought he did a good job too, please type a 1 in the chat box, and then we'll move on here. We're almost wrapping up with this.
Be kind.
Be kind. Yeah. Everyone, lots of ones. So fantastic. Everybody loved John here.
Well,
now, as
you.
people were typing in questions throughout the webinar, I've been copying and pasting all of them, so I've been saving them on here.
Okay.
But what I want to do right now on here is, well done, nice job, good job, ones on ones. Steve's awesome. People say you have a great heart too. They really liked your story in the beginning. You sound like a pro. We got lots of ones from some people, not just one, but lots of ones. Awesome, great job, clap.
Thanks. Thank you.
Man, it was just roll. Oh man, you guys are really nice. Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to questions and answers just a second. So I know a lot of you guys have questions out there, but what I want you to do is I'm going to share with you an opportunity to work more closely with Steve on here, because he's obviously got some things figured out here. So Steve, why don't you go ahead and switch over to the next slide and just go into how they can start working with you.
Okay. Some of you may have heard of this product. This is where I started. 11 months ago, I purchased something called Amazing Selling Machine, and it's all history from there. One of the most amazing instructional products I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. I've been looking, right? I've been looking for something that I could teach my friends, family, my kids, that they could take and run with, and I wouldn't have to worry about them. And this fit every one of those bills. In fact, my criteria is even more than that. My criteria was, can I do this from anywhere in the world? Can my family and I be in Hawaii? Can my family and I be in Europe? And can I run this business? And absolutely. And they can all run their own businesses, and they can pay their way to Europe, and I don't have to worry about that. So basically, this is what it is, and this is what we're talking about. And so I'm offering up myself to you if you decide that this sounds like something that you want to do. And if you purchase through mine and Chris's link, there are certain bonuses that I'm offering to you guys, and that I'll be there for you to help you as much as I possibly can. And so let's go through those bonuses real quick, and you'll see. Bonus number 1, and most important. I love these. I'm in a bunch of them, and you're probably in a bunch of them too. But a private Facebook group, mastermind group, where you guys can ask questions, and I will even have some guest guys in there. I can even get some other experts to answer. But I'll be there every morning in the AM and every night, twice a day, for the next 12 weeks at least. Probably beyond that, because I love them. I love chatting. I love hearing the good things, and this is some place where we want to post great things that are happening to us and bad things, because it doesn't, we all want to hear great things, but then again, we don't learn anything sometimes unless we have to deal with the bad things too. And so I want to be there if you run into a roadblock, or just a bump in the road and need to ask me a question. I want to be there to help you. So that's twice a day on the group. Now, Chris, we talked about limiting this to the first buyers. Do we want to cover that?
Because we talked about that as far as you're running a full-time business here,
yeah.
And you're also looking after your kids and your wife and all that kind of stuff. So this is really on hand. So we're just going to limit it to 20. I figure that's probably 20 for at least 12 weeks, if not longer. Right. And that's going to be enough to be able to make sure everyone gets the kind of attention that they need from you.
Right, and it'll be a true mastermind that way too. The smaller the group in something like this, the better. It gives everybody a really comfortable feeling, and gets the information answered quickly. So that's number 1. And now bonus number 2 is I will, and nobody does this hardly. I mean, maybe one other person out there somewhere. One-on-one private review, and that means that not only I'm going to review your product selections, you're going to come up with 3 products that you want to sell on Amazon. You're going to do the due diligence. You're going to do the work I just showed you how to do, and I'll share some other tricks with you if you purchase. And we'll go over the top 3 selections, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll pick the one that makes the most sense. So that's the first thing we're talking about on the one-on-one private review. Then we got to find a supplier. So if you make a list of suppliers and you have the top 3 that you feel comfortable with, you've talked to, you have all the criteria, which I have on my spreadsheet. It gives you a bunch of different questions to ask. Then we'll talk about that, and we'll pick the best supplier. And then we'll pick the number 2 supplier too, just in case. It's always nice to have backup. And the third, which is very, very important, I will review your product page, images, title, bullet points, and another area. There's a description area, which isn't that as much important, but it gives us another opportunity to put some more keywords in. So that's bonus number 2. Bonus number 3, I'm going to show you my secret method to getting #1 position on Amazon. And this is top secret, but I'll share that with you, and it's what I'm using now. It's taken me 11 months to really figure it out and perfect it, but that's bonus number 3, very obviously huge, very important. Bonus number 4, you're going to get access. I'm going to open up my Rolodex pretty much. I'm going to give you access to my my private Amazon sales copywriter. This copywriter will take 10 of your keywords and implement them into your title, bullet points, and description, and do a very good professional job. Because I know when I first started, I thought, oh man, it's intimidating. I'm not a sales copywriter. What do I do? So I found somebody, tested a bunch of different guys, came down with one that I really, really liked. So that's bonus 4. I will share that person with you, and you can use them. Number 5. Again, there's processes to find this, but it's time-consuming. It takes, and you have to go through a bunch. I've already done that, but I'll give you full access to my label designer, and these are 2 different people, and my 3D rendering artist. And I will even show you where to find even more. But the guys I like, and these are the guys I use, have plenty of time, and they're looking for more work. So why not? That's another bonus 5. I'll share that with you, and you can use them as well. Number 6, I'm going to be doing 4 fast-track live training webinars to ensure your success, to help you through it. I will be teaching on these webinars, and there will be Q&A on these webinars. Other things, some of the bonuses I'll be teaching there. And one thing you guys need to know too is when I get my teeth into something, and this is my teeth is into this over everything else, I'm pretty much dropping everything else I do, and I'm focusing on Amazon obviously, right, 100% now. And so I follow all the gurus. I buy everything that's out there. I test it. And I'll actually even be a little bit of a filter for you guys. And if you guys come up to see something that you think looks cool and don't want to buy it, or want to buy it possibly, talk to me first, because I either am testing it, or I will be testing it, or I am using it. So that's kind of a little side bonus there. I'll be that filter for you, because I know we're all hit with, oh, here's the new next best thing, right? And we don't want to be distracted by that. We want to just meat potatoes. We want to get to our goal of $10,000 a month for every product we launch. So I'm available for that too. Number 7, the last event was in Las Vegas. I lucked out there. And the next one's going to be in Las Vegas, so in my hometown, at the Venetian. And when you buy this product, you get free access to the live event. All you have to do is pay for your flight and room, and you have full access. This thing, I don't know if you guys have seen any of the videos of it, but there was like 2,000 people there or something crazy. The room, that's why they had to go to the Venetian. They used to do this in Austin, but there's no longer a venue that can hold everybody. And so it's a great experience. Kiyosaki talked last time. He's going to talk again. And then also Branson, what's his name, Virgin guy, he's going to be talking also. So that's huge. That was just announced the other day at the live event. And there's some great content, some great tricks. There's presenters that give us even more information. Well, anyway, at this live event, I will be available. We'll do a little, get together at the bar or a little room somewhere, and we'll be able to sit and talk face to face, and you can meet me. And my kids may even be there too. So that's another bonus. That's bonus number 7. Bonus 8 is a special bonus, and this is going to be interesting. The opportunity to team up with me and Chris and I. If you run into any roadblock, if your roadblock is buying inventory, getting a lower cost supplier in China, or staffing for as you grow, we need to outsource, right? That's the whole goal, right? We want outsourcers. Well, Chris and I have access to outsourcers that are being taught this now and are building our businesses, and so there's an opportunity there, and obviously that'll be available and on a person-by-person basis. And Chris, do you have any input you want to put in there on that bonus 8? I think you just muted yourself. You were unmuted, and then now you muted.
So there we go. Thank you. So the reason we did number 8, and not everyone's going to want to do it, but I invest in other businesses. I've invested in a coffee shop. I've invested in some farms down south, and the only kind of businesses I invest in is businesses that are currently making a profit. They supply a need in the marketplace, and the only thing that's preventing the business from really exploding and growing at the rate that they want to, they have more customers than products. So you're not able to buy, you've got, your goal was 17 a day, but there's literally 150 people per day that want to buy your product and can't because you keep selling out. And so you need to buy some inventory. Inventory is part of it, and if you don't have the funds to do that, that's where I come in. And then where Steve comes in is, then you're going to need a few more people to help you manage this. So he's going to help you manage it, and we partner up together in it. So anyways, that opportunity is there for you, so just wanted to do that. Chris is sleeping on here. Yeah, I'm sleepy. Actually, I'm pretty wide awake. It's only around 10 o'clock my time, so it's good on this end of it. So let's go ahead and, if you could switch over to the next slide, and let's get the links there for everybody, and then I'm going to turn it over to questions and answers. I've been copying all of the questions and answers down. Okay. And we'll get to those here. I'm going to put this in the chat box now. If you have not seen, you want to go to that link below. I'm going to put it in the chat box right now. And if you have not, a lot of you have, but if you have not seen, there's going to be 2 options at the bottom of the other page when you go to that. If you have not seen the videos and learned about ASM, which is Amazing Style Line Machine, if you haven't seen those videos, really, you gotta watch those before you even think about purchasing this. And the reason is because it is by far one of the best training products out there and the best opportunities, hands down, in today's marketplace, and will continue to be for the very, very distant future here. And you'll get to see, Steve and his family are not isolated. You're going to get to meet a lot of other people who are very successful at this, and you're going to see those people, and you're going to see a lot of other things too. I'd really encourage you to do that. This is really, if you're if you're like me or like Steve, you've gotten to a point in your online business where you've just purchased products, and you're just not able to break out and get to a place of being completely independent online, making your own income, making income for your family if you've got family on here. This is really something that you want to consider here. So with that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get to the questions that people were so nice to do. And Steve, you're the expert here, so I'm reading these to you. Okay. All right. So on here, so this is in no particular order, so it might kind of bounce around a little bit. But how do you manage the cash flow? So you don't get paid right away. How do you manage your cash flow with your product inventory and stuff like that?
Well, the neat thing about Amazon, because if any of you have ever done affiliate, it takes a while to get paid on some of that stuff, right? In fact, sometimes you never get paid on it. But with Amazon, they're so professional. Every 2 weeks, it's like a paycheck. Every 2 weeks, you electronically that money goes right into your account. And yes, one of the big aspects is money management. And I got to tell you, one of my things that I stumbled on a little bit is I ran out of product a few times, and it just makes me mad, right? You're trying to time it right, and you're trying to do everything just right, and you go to zero product. And that's not a good thing. Some people think it's okay. I don't like it. I never want to run out of product, because bottom line is, if I don't have product, I miss sales that day. If I go one day without making my sales, I don't like it. So you got to be careful. What I do is, as soon as I hit 50% inventory, I place my next order. That's just my rule of thumb. That works really good with my system. It may change. My orders are going to be getting bigger. Ideally, I'd love to do, instead of a 2-month thing, I want to do a 6-month thing, right? And so I have enough inventory. But you just got to be careful. You got to be, like with anything, you need to manage it. You need to make sure what I do is I pull 50% of the funds coming in, I set them aside. I do not spend that money. 50% of the funds, I set them aside. They stay in the account until I'm ready to order. And that's how I manage it. And that works best for me. It's very simple, and you just got to do it, And I know some people, when they start with this, they got to pay the bills, and, they're still, trying to make some additional funds. And, just be careful with that. Just make sure you have enough when it's time to order again.
Okay, fantastic. What besides, okay, you said your main criteria is a 50% profit margin on here, and yes. But what other costs? People are asking about shipping costs, about UPC codes. What other costs are involved here that either eat into that 50%, or you've already added in, a 55% profit margin, so it brings it down to 50%. What are the other costs involved here?
Well, that's it. At the end of the day, 50%, and that's how we get there. You'll notice that, some of those numbers we're looking at, actually, it's looked on paper, look like more than 50%, right? But there's some other costs. There's and the fees vary by what the price of the product is, but you have the FBA fees, Amazon fees, and I can't quote you off the top of my head. I know one of my products, my first product is like $7. For that, but it's a $20 product. It's under $7, I think, but that's that plus the it's not less than, it's more like $6, but that plus the product purchase, that's pretty much it. And that's FBA. That handles shipping. The only shipping you have to worry about is getting from the manufacturer to Amazon.
Okay, so that's another important thing to just point out there, is that you're not drop shipping them themselves. You're shipping the product directly to Amazon, and Amazon is taking care of everything, which also means that they qualify for the prime shipping too, right? So you get more prime buyers. Yeah.
Right. There's two primes. There's prime it qualifies for prime. Your product, and the way we set up all our products qualify for prime. So if you are a prime member, that's free. If you're not, then, but Amazon never charges you for the shipping. It charges the customer if they're not a prime member. On the shipping from your supplier to Amazon, the neat thing about it, you use the Amazon system. You pay Amazon UPS rates. Nobody has Amazon UPS rates. They're the lowest rates in the world. And so, because they ship so much, right? So that's very, very cheap. I think my product, it's like 20 cents. It costs me 20 cents per bottle. Yeah. So the bottom line in here is that 50% profit is 50% profit. He's already built into the margin on that end of it, all the other little smaller costs. So what you see is 50%. It's not 50% minus another 20% for all kinds of extraneous costs. So it's really a 30% net. That's not the case here. So moving on here, we got a lot of questions. I'm just going to boil it in. So we're going to go through this quickly. Now this question came up a lot. Can you just
attest to the fact that these reviews, A, how important are the reviews, and B, these reviews, isn't it against Amazon's terms of agreement? I mean, how are you getting around this? Because you're not really getting around anything, are you? This is a straight up way to do it. Can you just explain that?
Yeah, no, the reviews are reviews. It's built into Amazon. As long as we're not asking them to give us a good review, and we're just asking, and they get our product and they test it, and we ask for an honest review. That's total TOS. That's terms of service for Amazon, no problem whatsoever.
And Amazon does the same thing, by the way. So it's totally fine. The key is it nowhere in there are you saying, hey, if you test this product out, you have to give me a 5-star review. No, it's an honest review, and if you've got a good product, you're going to get good reviews. It's really just that simple on that end of it. Now, Steve has got some super secret methods that he didn't share here. He showed you some methods so you can walk away with some actual items, but he's got some other ways that he gets the reviews that he needs in order to get up on #1 within Amazon, because that's obviously where you're going to get your sales on here. Okay, so then the question is, how do you compete with other Amazon members targeting the same products as you are showing? Can you go over that? Because I think there's some confusion with that.
Well, depends on what other people are selling on Amazon. If it happens to be a student that's part of the Amazing Selling Machines, that's one thing. If it's somebody that isn't, then you're way above them. you're going to be light years ahead of a standard seller on Amazon. If somebody's gone through the course and knows what you know, I'm teaching tricks that they don't even know. And these are tricks I have developed myself or found out from other people who have tested just like me. So, and the other thing too is, Chris alluded to this early, Amazon is so huge. So huge. There's so much room to sell products on Amazon. There's still products out there in some niches that no students are in still. I mean, again, this is the typical question, right? Saturation. Well, we know, we've learned it'll never be saturated. It's too big. In fact, one thing that Chris I don't think did say, but the reason why Amazon is not going to get any smaller is because of the internet growth. You know, I don't know what the percentage is, but I guarantee you, people who shop online isn't a very big percentage of people in the world. So put that into as when you think about it, every year, the growth of internet online shopping is growing, which is just going to grow. It's going to keep growing. So I think in the next 3 years, I can't remember the numbers, but it's something like Amazon was going to double again or something. It was crazy. So no, competition is not a problem. My first niche I know of right now, there's that I can count 7 other students in that product. So no, you don't have to worry about it.
What is the optimum number of reviews you want for your product? Now, doesn't that depend on your research that you've done? So if the other top products have 20 reviews and it's winning #1, then you want to get more than 20. Is it basically that simple?
Yeah, the rule of thumb is one more than the top guy.
Yeah, okay. Plus, you're doing all of these other things on here. You were showing us the 3D rendering, the comparing your products to others, this kind of stuff. All of those things make a huge difference when it comes to conversion. So don't take those things lightly. They say the devil's in the details. Those are the details that's going to make sure that you get the conversions that you want. It's the reason why Steve has been so successful, and obviously his kids and his wife have been successful doing this as well on that. Okay, so how do you find products? Let me clarify this. When you're, regardless of where you are in the world, if you're in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, you're at Hong Kong, wherever you are in the world right now, and you're just starting out, where do you start out, Steve? Which country?
United States.
United States, right?
Hands down, yeah. It's just the volume is so huge. And then if you want to go #2, and this will be later on, Europe. It would be your next one. That's kind of what the rule of thumb, and that's what people do. Start in the United States, get successful, then move on to other locations.
And then do you start out going and buying a product from wholesaler in China, or where do you recommend people start? Where do they get their suppliers?
China's fine. I don't recommend your first product be bought in China, but I know tons of people that did their first product in China. So if to eliminate, potential issues with dealing with China, because there's always the barrier of language and other things and culture, I recommend, and the system recommends, start in the United States. Do the Google search, evaluate, some suppliers, find the one you really like, and that's where you start. And that's just the best way. That's what I did. I didn't go to China. I have 2 other products coming online in the next couple months that are coming out of China. But again, I didn't start there because it's a whole other animal. So that's why I went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the amazing selling product, those guys suggest the same thing, right? If you're just starting out, just make it easy because look, if it's just going to be a lot easier to manage when you first start out, is my understanding of it. And then you can just buy the same darn product in China. There's a little bit more obstacles to cross, 100% doable, but you'll get it at a lower cost, so your profit margins are even higher. It really comes down to that, right?
Yeah, and one little side note real quick is the rule of thumb is if you swallow it or put it on your skin, don't buy it out of China, buy it in the United States.
It's a great rule to have.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay, good. Alrighty, so what's the kind of the minimum working capital you need after you've invested in the product? Because this product is really a life changer, like it's been for you and your family and many others too.
Yes.
Here. What is that's a very good question that Michael asked here. Is I've invested in the course, I'm going for it, I'm totally in. What am I looking at here just to get started? What's you could obviously find a product and maybe if you had a lot of extra cash, you'd probably buy a lot of inventory,
right.
and there's ranges in there. How did you handle that in the beginning?
Well, carefully.
Okay,
you got your money, right? You got your budget, and I will help you stay within that budget, whatever that is. We'll talk a little bit about it more. There's a little bit of a cost on the labeling. You got to not only design your label. It's not bad though. Believe me, I've got some fantastic rates. It's like, it's a couple $100 to do this whole labeling thing. It's nothing, and that's design and everything. It's very, very, very cheap. And then inventory, it's just negotiating with the supplier for whatever their MOQ, minimum order quantity is. And, sometimes that's one reason why you won't go with the suppliers, because he says you need 1,000 pieces and you only want 300. So then you go to the guy that will. Maybe you pay, 10 cents more per bottle to start out, but so what? Later on, when you're making some money, you can always go back to the first guy and say, okay, I'll buy you 1,000 bottles now. So yeah, it's just budgeting and managing. It's not that bad.
Nice. Okay, so with the supply, so let's kind of match some of the dots here. People are asking, okay, so I found the supplier and I'm going to ship it to Amazon because you don't carry any inventory. You're not running out to the post office every day, right? You're not doing that. You're letting Amazon do it. Plus, you're going to sell more when you do that, right? I always end up buying the product that Amazon's going to ship out versus a private seller, even if there's a couple dollar difference. That's just me. I just trust them more. But anyways, so let's say you got a product, you found a supplier, and now you're going to, and you're going to help people do this. You're going to help them design and get their private label on it. And it doesn't sound as complicated as it is. Who puts the label on the product? Where does that take place?
At the manufacturer. Like my first product, I lucked out, and the label printer was in the same city, and usually that's easy. But they were actually in the same building, the same building as my supplier. So he just had to ship them down the hallway, and then on the machine it slaps on the label. So that's all done. So when I say private label, the supplier is your private label guy. He is going to, and this is the cool thing. You can manipulate the formula the way you want it. If you would like a cherry flavor instead of a orange flavor, you can manipulate that. You can tell them. If you want a different scent, if you want it less flowery, and you want it, a little bit more something else scent or no scent, you can actually customize that formula for yourself. And so again, uniqueness. Now you're totally talk about you've now developed your own product, and it's unique. Nobody else is like your product. So there's opportunities like that all the time, depending on the supplier. So when it goes from the supplier, you go online, Amazon, you go into Amazon and you tell how many units per box, because the supplier tells you what the weight of the box is. You send those shipping labels through the internet. It's just a PDF to the supplier. They slap them on the box. UPS comes that same day, picks them up, and usually Amazon will have you shipped to 3 different warehouses, like one in the East, one in the Midwest, and one on the West Coast. And those get shipped out from the supplier to those locations, which are called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon warehouses. So this is the key to everything. This is why, remember in the old days, if we wanted to sell something, right, we had to, put it all in our garage and, sell it on eBay or swap meet or whatever. But now, since Amazon's gotten so good at inventorying product, they have their own little label they put on it. They track it all for you. You don't ever have to worry about it. You do not touch you don't have to unless you want to. You never have to touch your product. You never have to put a label on. You never have to put it in a box. Now I have some around just because if I have a customer and it's red hot and I want to, let's say their shipment, or usually Amazon will take care of it. Let's say something happened to it, the box was crushed. Amazon will take care of that. But let's say I want to, customer service a little bit quicker. I can send out a box if I want to, but I don't. Hardly ever. Twice I've had to do it. Not even had to do it. I just chose to do it. But again, remember my criteria. I want to be anywhere in the world. I want to be in Hawaii, sitting on the beach, or whatever, and as long as I place that order to my supplier, it's gone. It's done. I don't have to touch it again.
Nice on here. Okay. Alrighty, good. Okay. Do people outside the U.S. need a U.S. account or address to get going?
I'm not out of the U.S. I can't tell you all the details, but it is taught in the program exactly how to do it. There's a bank account situation with Amazon. You have to have, but they tell you exactly how to do it. And there's an online banking system, I think, now that you can have your banking done where Amazon can pay you your money. They need to be able to pay your money, and it needs to be a certain type of bank account for Amazon right now. That's just Amazon rules. Addresses, a virtual address would be cool, which is easy to do. As you guys know, most of you know that. That's what I use. I actually use a virtual address for my location, and I'm in the United States. So, it's the same thing. It really is. Yeah,
it's all outlined in the course. There are, I would estimate from the forums and stuff like that probably 20% plus of the people doing this, and this course has been around for a while, do not live in the United States, and they're all selling. So it's not like you're going to be the only one, and all you got to do is follow in the footsteps that others have already done. It's really that simple here. Could you describe the approval process for getting a private label product on Amazon? Is there a process there to get approved?
No, not really. Now, it depends on every niche or category is what Amazon calls them, is a little bit different. Beauty, for example, was really easy to get into. You just did it, right? Well, now, because they had some people selling stuff that was a little bit below grade, now they make you go through a 3-step process, which is easy. I've gone through it, was okay right away, it was no problem whatsoever. They need to see receipts, and the other thing you guys have access to. Don't worry, I'm not the only guy. I'm not the only person that you're going to have access to. With the program, there's a huge Facebook group. There is a huge community of people just waiting to help, and all these questions you have been answered 1,000 times and massaged and changed and fixed. Now, I will be there to answer them, obviously, also, and fine-tune those answers, because sometimes I agree with everybody and sometimes I don't. But I'll give you my 2 cents if you ask. But so it's not just me. you're going to have an access to. There's mentors in the program that are there for you. That I don't know if they pay them or not, but there's like 10 of them that are monitoring everything all the time. There's a forum that has all those answers to those questions in there. So yes, it's huge. It's the most, like I told you earlier, it's the most amazing educational program online I've ever seen in my life.
Nice. Okay. Okay, so let's see. What do we got here? Okay, Rick. So they're experimenting with shipping with drones. I don't know yet. Okay, not yet. Would I be paying Canadian income tax then? Rick, I'm not an income expert, but what I can tell you from my own personal experiences on here, but you want to ask your own accountant on that. Is that wherever you're a resident of, whatever if you're a resident of Canada or if you're a resident of Hong Kong, you will pay those taxes there. So if you're a resident in Hong Kong, even though you have a virtual business, and Hong Kong doesn't have taxes for money earned outside Hong Kong, you don't pay any taxes, okay? If you're a Canadian, I'm going to assume it goes this way, but again, you want to talk to a tax expert that can answer these questions on here. If you live in Canada and you use the streets and you use the public system and you use their healthcare system, then the U.S. is going to be just as bad shortly, but we won't go down that path. So anyways, you're going to be, because you're a resident there and you're using the government systems, you're going to pay taxes in Canada. Okay, that's just the way it is. Now, if you want to get kind of creative with that like I do, and you're a digital nomad, then you can end up paying no taxes at all. But that's for a whole other thing on here. Okay, so what are the biggest mistakes you see people making on Amazon on here? That's a good question. Just kind of
the number one biggest mistake is picking the wrong product. Now, that's not a total bad thing. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's all educational, right? One thing in any business, you never want to give up, right? So if for some reason, which won't happen with us, but if somebody were to pick a bad product or my recommend to this point has always been, hey, don't give up. Just go on to the next product. That won't happen with us because we're more meticulous. We will not let that happen. We will make sure we follow all our guidelines, and we will not. You can't get emotional with a product, like I said before. If it doesn't meet the first criteria, we dump it. We don't even look at it anymore. So we have to be religious when it comes to those things, because we need to eliminate as many potential problems as we can. Again, we just don't want to cause any more problems for ourselves than don't already exist. So that is number one. Let me see. Once you have a good product, is there mistakes? Running out of inventory, it's not a huge mistake, but it's one that I kick myself over because I've done it twice, I think now, maybe 3 times. But that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? You're selling inventory, but yeah, you don't want to be out of inventory. Let me see, mistakes. Shoddy work. This is where I'm weak. Not shoddy work, but one of the things on online stuff, and Chris teaches this more than anybody. Speed loves money, or money loves speed. There we go. And and so I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So you're going to get that out of me. But this is my train of thought, especially with something like this. I would rather take a little bit extra time and make sure I did it right than have to backtrack and fix it. Now, the theory, though, is get the dang product out there, stop fiddling around, and get it online. And that's true, too. So I kick myself every day and tell myself, stop it, get it out there. Stop worrying about it, just get it out there. So I have to find a happy medium there for myself. A lot of you probably won't have that same problem, but some of you may. And, that's something I can, kind of walk you through. So that's a mistake sometimes. That I see. Maybe somebody might rush, and maybe not go with a really good 3D image. I guess, maybe, that was a mistake I made. I felt I could have done better on my sales copy. So that's why I went back and redid it. Again, I don't like doing that, but I did it, and again, it didn't hurt me, so it delayed me a few months. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. just as long as we're doing it, we're fixing it, and we're moving on and staying positive. That's all that really matters.
Okay, good. And what I like about Steve is obviously he's a genuine, honest guy, and he's just being honest with you guys. When he started out, his growth slowed down in the beginning. He could have got there faster in retrospect. It's always easier to look back and say that, but he's just giving himself an honest assessment and being honest with all of you out there.
Yeah.
On that end of it. So just recognize that on here. A couple of these questions on here, Jeff on here, as far as if you're outside the United States, which at least 20% of all the students in this program has been around for a while are, and all that's addressed inside the course, and everyone's there, and the support forums inside the course are filled with that stuff. So you're not going to be the first one. You're not going to have to reinvent the wheel with that. There's a lot of people outside the U.S. doing that. Okay, so I don't know if we answer this or not. I see the question coming back up again, so maybe we just need to just kind of address it really quickly. Okay. After you've invested in the course, you just dive right in. You know that money loves speed, and you're not getting caught up in analysis paralysis. You're just going to move forward with this thing with the right kind of guidance. Realistically, how long does it take to get your product out, just kind of realistically, and everyone's going to be a little bit different depending on your work habits and stuff like that. But if you've got all the right coaching, you got the best training in the world with the Amazon, the ASM, you've got Steve in your corner, morning and night through the Facebook group, and also once you come up to the point to where you've followed the course and you've got your product narrowed down, maybe to the top 3 that you think are, you've done all your research on it, then Steve is going to help you out and actually look over that for you to make sure you haven't missed anything there through his experience. Because remember, he hasn't done this just once on this end of it. He's actually done this 6 or 7 times between himself, a couple of his products, and also his wife and his 3 kids. So he's been through this process before, so he's certainly qualified to help you out with that. With all that taken in, about how much money would you need to get a product? And I know that depends on the product, but just roughly, and then how long before you start seeing some of the green come in? Okay.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the program, and just to prepare yourself. This program is meticulous. It's not only every time they launch it, it's an upgraded product. The product you guys are going to get is light years from the first one. Every time they do it, they learn more, they add more. Now remember, these guys have experience. I have experience with 10 to 20 different people. They have experience with thousands and thousands of people with their system, so they have information we don't have. So they add to the program, and that's why it's become so fantastic. When they first started, it was great. Now it's just fantastic. Now the way they deliver the program, and there's no option here. It's 1 module per week. They are adamant about that, and people have questioned, can I get everything at once? They have found out that the best way to learn is at a certain pace. And to tell you the truth, it's not a retarded pace. It's a good pace. In fact, you will need to focus to keep up. The biggest recommendation I give you is do what they say and do it exactly how they say it and move on. Now with me there, I'll be able to clarify, and I'll even be able to help you go on a little bit of a faster track, especially if what I just taught you right now is pretty much the fast track. I just taught you how to find a product. I just taught you how to find a supplier. And I just taught you how to have a great product page. Well, that right there, that's like a 3-week course with them. Not really, but it's like maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and then you'd be up to what I just taught you. Now they go into a lot more detail. They go into a lot of answering questions and stuff. But we can definitely get there faster. So on time-wise, it's up to you. It really is. It's up to you how much time you have to spend on it and get those lists of suppliers that I can look at, and the price selection obviously that we can look at. But I'll be available immediately to do that if it's next after the launch, whatever the launch is, which is another time thing, Chris, we got to cover because our deadline is the 24th.
Well, it ends on Friday. All this is over with on Friday, and you can't get it. They're not going to. You can't go buy it after that. When they close the door, it's really close. How many hours per day to do the course realistically? I mean, if you had all the time in the world, how many hours to do the course if you started on day one like they recommend?
You can get through the videos, I think usually, I'm thinking an hour or two, and you're through all the videos for that week. If you have an hour to sit down or 2 hours to sit down and do it. If you have to do like, a little bit here and there, that'll take a bit longer, and then you got homework to do. The learning process. I don't want to say homework, that sounds bad, but the learning process. They want you to do certain tasks. And let me tell you the other thing about this program, which is fantastic because it's motivating, is they've gamified the learning process. There's badges that you earn. And so different modules, you'll be able to earn different badges. And different tasks, you'll be able to earn certain other badges. Most people participate, some don't. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to participate. But it's kind of cool because you get to see everybody else and how you're progressing with them, and you can it kind of pushes you a little bit to earn that next badge. So,
is there a way for us to take advantage of the Christmas rush for the products, or have we missed out on that boat? That's a question from Jim on that, and if you could answer that.
Well, I didn't launch my first product until January of this year, so I never was in Christmas. I've never been in Christmas. So I don't know. We'd have to really move. If you want a product up for Christmas, we'd really have to move. It's what we're now almost to the end of October. It would be something that we'd really have to push to get it on. Okay,
good. And then someone on here asked, I just want to be really clear about this, is that some people are thinking, and I just want to clarify this, some people are asking about, do we need a website, a product website, are we ranking, is there SEO? No, there's absolutely none of that. There's no websites, there's no ranking, there's no backlinking, that whole world is gone when you're doing this. It's not required, okay? You just don't do it. Is there paid advertising? Do you need to go out and do your own paid advertising in order to sell your products? No. The whole key is, and the beauty about this on here, and if I get any of this wrong, Steve, let me know, is it doing the 3 steps that Steve showed you, that the course goes over in a lot more detail, is basically you got a good product, you have a really well optimized little product page, the 3D product on that, and then you've got your keywords in there. He'll show you how to do all that stuff on that end of it. And then you've got the amount of reviews on that end of it. And basically what's going to happen there, and there's a couple other little moving parts there, but this is the overall gist of it, is that it's going to push your product up to position number 1 within Amazon, and that's where all your traffic is.
Right. And just to expound on those 2 questions, I have not done any Google SEO for my product. Not that it isn't a great bonus in the future. I want to, but I haven't had to, and I haven't. Again, they are 2 separate animals, and I'm treating them so, and so I'm becoming an Amazon expert. That's my goal. I'm fairly good at Google, but my job is to rank things on Amazon and make sales, right? Well, yeah, if you had a website and it was ranking on the first page of Google, would that help? Yeah, obviously. People search Google too. But we don't need to do that right now. We can do that later. After we're making some money, yeah, we can build a website. We can do some SEO stuff. We can do some stuff if you want to. But if Amazon's making you $25,000 a month and you say, you know what, I'm just going to do another product and worry about Amazon, then you don't need to do the SEO on Google. If you want to, that's fine. You can do that all you want. And that will help, obviously, but not needed. The other thing regarding advertising, the only advertising that I do is I buy ads, PPC, on Amazon. Amazon PPC is, it's not very expensive, and it's very, very effective, because once you, it's like Google, but it's even better, because once you buy that ad, if your bids are high enough, and it's like $1, it's not even that, 50 cents, per click or something, you're on the first page of Google. Now, sometimes you rotate with other advertisers, but if you're not on the first page of Google yet, well, that gets you on the first page. I'm sorry, first page of Amazon. I say Google. I meant Amazon. So PPC, Amazon PPC, is something I do. You don't need to do it right away, but that's something you can add. And believe me, there's an ROI there. So there's no, you're not losing money with Amazon PPC. You are making money. And Amazon just added a new feature to it, where you select the auto keyword. selection, they automatically select all the keywords that Amazon feels you need to rank. Remember, the difference between Google and Amazon is they want you to rank. They want to help you rank, because if you have a good product and people love it, then you're going to sell more if Amazon ranks you, and that means Amazon is going to make more money.
Really good point there. Hey, okay, so the questions have kind of died down, so we're going to start to wrap this up on here.
Okay.
So if anybody on the call here, there's still a lot of people hanging on. If you have got questions, now's the time to type them in, and I will definitely make sure that Steve answers them. But if you haven't, when you've gone to the other page to check out how to get your bonuses, how to collect them, all that kind of stuff. If you have not watched the ASM videos, it's almost required to do that, because it's going to educate you a lot more. It's going to get you even in a better decision of whether this is going to be right for you or not. Steve's a great guy and this is a great product, but don't just take his word for it. Don't just take my word for it. Watch through the videos, listen to other people, watch the product, watch how the process is done. It's a little more detailed on that end of it, and I think that anybody making the proper decision should be responsible and also watch those too. So I have two buttons there. One is basically I've already watched the videos, this is what I needed, I'm over the fence and I'm going for it, or I haven't watched the videos yet, and then I have a second button there. And so you just click on watch them, and remember, this all, I will take that page down once we're at 20 slots taken, and then that's so everyone gets the kind of attention that they need from Steve, and I will just end up taking that page down and or removing the buttons and just putting an apology there for that. So with that here, let me just cover if there's any other questions on here. And okay, so we got a couple more questions on this. Confused about the silicone spatula example that you gave earlier. You have 3 products with a BSI of 1,000 or less. They all 3 must be making a lot of sales. Why not compete against them? Seems like Merchant Awards is not accurate. Why? Because there are 3 products that get a lot of buyer traffic and sales. Please explain. I hope I read that in verbatim, so I hope that makes sense.
Sure. No, it does. It does. Remember, we're looking for the greatest chance of success. Yes, you're correct. You could probably pick any product and make some money, but we're looking for the ones that are going to make us the most money, right? So, and remember, Merchant Awards isn't perfect. I don't think the Google, planner tool is perfect, right? So we have to take it, with a grain of salt a little bit, but it's a filter that is common. So as long as we're using the same filter throughout the same process, then it's going to mean that other items that are higher searched mean they may even have higher searches. So again, it's all filters. We have to draw the line somewhere. You might be able to make you might be able to make some money on spatulas, but I wouldn't. It doesn't meet my criteria, so I would just move on and find a better one.
Good. Okay. Alrighty. Question on here. Is your top secret to get to #1 involved you spending a lot of additional cash on here? In other words, if you're gonna get up to #1, are you spending a lot of other money outside of, you want to have nice graphics on that, which aren't that expensive. You were sharing with me those graphics are around $8-10 a piece to the people that you go through. You went through a lot of trial and error to find them. So that's not a huge spending on that end of it. You're obviously going to be selecting a product that has the right combination of profit margin, searches, and not that competitive, right? Right. So on that end of it, and I know you and I were looking at some products the other day online, and we found one that looked really good, and I think the highest number of reviews it had was like 17 or something. I mean, it was, right. and all the other competition had they had like one picture, and it was a flat, like someone took it from, they just set it on a table and took a picture and stuff. So it's stuff like that you want to find, and when you find a niche like that, which is going to be the best place to start, aside from the graphics, is there any additional kind of cost involved to get you where you need to be? And also keep in mind that Steve's success that he's had right now, you're not the #1 position, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
No,
So
no. Yeah, I'm not. I'm on page 1, but I'm not on the top. I'm more just barely above the middle of the page. But there is some things that you could spend money on and move things along quicker, but you don't have to. One of there are, I'm trying to tell how to tell you without divulging some of the stuff, and all I can say is yes and no. If you want to move faster, you can spend a little bit more money and get your ranking faster. If you don't have or don't want to spend that money, you don't have to. It just takes a little bit longer.
okay. Okay. So I'm just answering. So could you spend 3 to 6 hours a day? I don't think there's, if you start from day one, there's not 3 to 6 hours of work to do a day, right?
No.
So if you got the course, you just, from day one, you dived in because they drip it out to you because they've got a proven system here. So they're dripping it out to you. How much are you going to be spending per day? I mean, if you just had all the time in the world, then you went as fast as you could.
Right. I mean, a couple hours a day is that's a day. Remember, you got a whole week to go through that information. So even an hour a day is really all you need. If you have a full-time job and you dedicate yourself and miss a couple programs on TV that night, one night a week or every night of the week, and rest on Saturday and Sunday, then yeah, you will absolutely be able to do more you'll have more time than you need to do all the tasks required for that week. So yeah, that's the other reason why they drip it out. They know people have second jobs, and they don't want to shove a bunch of stuff at you because it gets over. Programs, I've taken them. Sometimes when you get everything, it gets a little overwhelming, right? Well, these guys have learned the best way to do it is, hey, let's finish A and then we'll move on to B after A is finished.
Yeah, these guys not only know what they're doing and the quality is there, but they're also really good teachers. So,
yeah, they're good. That's why you got to listen to the videos, you guys. If you haven't listened to those videos, first of all, they're great guys. Matt and Jason are just two of the greatest guys. I mean, they're just really, really good guys to talk to and meet, and also they teach really, really well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that is. Let me just check a couple more here. Okay, Gerald, if you could, Gerald, just ask your question a different way because you're asking what programs have you taken. I guess as far as the program that if you want to get in on this and do this is ASM, and Steve has obviously been a student of that, and he is a student of his business, so he's constantly learning all the time, and you get to. He had a huge learning curve and a huge spending curve to get where he is today, and you get to fast track and piggyback off of his success. So that's the benefit that you get here. So, alrighty. Okay, so this is going to be the last question on here from John, and we're going to wrap up on here. On the 3 products that you're looking for, are those related products or cross-sell promotions? Are you looking to cross-sell these with those 3, or are you just looking for the 3 top best opportunities regardless of the niche that they may be in?
The three when we're doing the spreadsheet, is that what we're talking about to get the BSR?
Yeah, I mean you probably start out with 20 or 30, right, and then you start to narrow it down. And when you narrow it down to your top 3, then what are those? Yeah. Right.
No, they're in the same niche. Right there, for example, the derma roller, right? The way the basic ASM teaches is, pick the top 3, look, see what the BSR is, and use that. Well, what I do is I actually take more than that, 20, and I evaluate 20 of the top 20 listings, take the BSRs, and evaluate it from that. It gives more data, more stuff. They are the exact same product, so not cross sells or anything. It's just to evaluate that product. Do I want to sell that product? And does it meet that criteria of the BSR test and the merchant words test and then there's some other things I do also later on that I will teach that even will fine tune it even more. But that'll be through the program. So no, they are not to cross-sell. They are the exact same product that you're buying.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I want to thank everybody. There's a ton of people on the call here, so I know a lot of people took precious time out of their day. So I want to thank everyone who showed up for this really amazing opportunity here. And I want to thank Steve for taking the time out. Steve put a lot of effort into this, so give him a big hand in there. Give him some applause in there. He really put a lot of effort into this. He was really thinking about you. He wanted to provide the most value to everyone on here, and he took time out of his day. He didn't have to do this. He's doing just fine without doing this. So really what I had to do is I had to kind of twist his arm and say, look, these are the benefits. If you help other people out doing this, and you teach them and walk this through, you'll become better at your craft as well. So it's a win-win both ways, and that's how that teaching and learning exchange goes back and forth. And that kind of clicked with him, made sense, and so I said, yep, let's go ahead and do it. So remember, we will take the page down once we've reached the 20 on here. And this entire thing ends this Friday. It's done and over with. And if you miss out on it, I think you'll be kicking yourself, because it's really just a good, solid business here. We don't have to worry about SEO. We don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff on here. We're riding in the coattails of one of the largest, fastest online retailers in the world, and they've got so much more room for growth. So anyways, Steve, I'll go ahead and we'll exit out with whatever you've got to say, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share what you do and how you've changed your life and the lives of your family.
Well, thanks, Chris. It was a great opportunity. I love sharing stuff like this. I don't know. It's just my personality, I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't share it if I didn't believe in it. I haven't had my own personal experience, positive experience with it. I'm super excited about it. And again, thanks you guys for staying on the call and listening to what I have. And hopefully you guys will jump in and we can work together and we can have some more success stories. I'd love to hear those. So, thanks very much, and great to be here, and great to do the webinar with you. So, perfect.